Hi Spotify, this is Jade from ThicRoots, and thank you for this opportunity to submit a little bit something extra for you. I wanted you to be able to have a chance to see me and get to know me a little bit. I thought it would be important to highlight my editing skills, not just on the audio side, but also the video side. I'm self-taught in everything that I do. I can trace it all the way back to how I very first began editing, which was after my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and we knew that she was going to be passing away soon. I decided to start editing a video montage as a way to pay tribute to her at her memorial service. I think it's powerful to take something that might be an obstacle and turn it into a strength. I majored in journalism and in my career worked in nonprofit. Again, always having to be scrappy to get the best possible results. Then I moved to North Carolina. I moved down to actually the Triangle area and spent the summer in Charlotte just this past year. That's where I met Sydney. I didn't know that we actually had this in common, navigating adulthood without our moms. But when I did find that out, it was like we became kindred spirits, and both of our mom spirits were encouraging us to move forward and create something joyful and unique out of our shared experience and our healing process. It's funny, she actually first approached me about the idea of starting a t-shirt company that would be called ThicRoots, a chance to kind of have graphic tees that would be relatable for Black femmes. And I'm a big concert goer, a big festival goer, so this really appealed to me. And I sat down with her as a marketing consultant to discuss her vision. Soon after, literally by the end of our first meeting, we realized that there was way more that we needed to do together to basically become influencers in Charlotte and go ahead and align that Queen City's chakras like nothing before. And I knew that I had to jump on this opportunity for a true partnership and find a way to start sharing my voice. I was always that kind of person who was in the supporter role, the person who would consult and make other brands flourish. But now with ThicRoots as Jade, it's my opportunity to start telling that story of how diverse and varied and paradoxical the Black femme experience can really be. But there's a lot about me that most people might not guess just upon looking at me. And so this opportunity is something that, really lets me be myself and show another side of me that is, I guess you could say, kind of covered by the way that it looks from the outside. Maybe I come off as shy, timid, but I'm a goddess. Me, I'm a New Yorker, but I'm a Southerner now. I'm an Afro-Latina, both Black and Puerto Rican. I've navigated that my whole life. I'm a wife, and I'm also bi, and I'm also poly, and I'm kind of just figuring all of that out. But I know I'm not the only one. So this is a chance through ThicRoots to be able to tell that story and be honest and show that knowing yourself and loving yourself, embracing yourself, and speaking the truth is powerful. Self-love is a radical act, especially for Black femmes. There needs to be more voices out there that are leading the way and creating a platform for the everyday experience of Black femmes to be shared, to be lifted up. And that's what ThicRoots is about. I've grown so much over the past few months as a professional, as a creator, as a dreamer, as an entrepreneur. And I have Sydney and ThicRoots to thank for that. And I would really appreciate the opportunity to learn from the best in the business when it comes to this field. I think it's a beautiful thing what you're doing, Spotify, because I can understand how making this kind of an investment in Black women podcasters can really have an influence on the world. That's our dream. What you talked about in your press release when you initially decided to launch the Sound Up Bootcamp really hit home for me. Afrofuturism, the way that Janelle Monáe describes in your channel video, is also what inspires us at ThicRoots. The idea that we can turn Charlotte into a shining city as an example and a beacon for other Black people to know that they can come and they can thrive and they can be supported the way that you're supporting us now. And I have experience editing, but I know that I need just that extra push to really get me there, to get me to a state of excellence. I'm excited about that. I'm just so ready, I've been putting in the time, I've been putting in the work, and it's been unpaid, but it's been fueled by my passion. It's been fueled by this idea of what could be for my people, for the culture, and for ThicRoots. We had an episode that was all about building Wakanda, creating the Charlotte that we want to see. That's where we discuss a little bit more about our vision for what Charlotte really could be and the role that we want to have in creating it, building it. I'm a creator, I'm a builder, I'm an ideas factory, but I also love that tangible aspect of producing great content. It's been so challenging, but in an exciting and fun way, to take our raw recordings and put them together to create a story, to create an experience, and hopefully to leave our audiences both always wanting more, but also learning something, walking away, having thought about something differently, or learned a little bit more information, or been inspired to practice self-care in a way that maybe they hadn't thought of taking the time to do before. So give that a listen, and we hope that you'll enjoy.
All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into the thick of it. And today, what are we talking about, Jade?
We're talking about making our own Black history by creating the Charlotte we want to see for Black people.
So we arrived at this topic, number one, because it's Black History Month. So we want to pay homage to that, even though we celebrate and create Black history every day that we exist and breathe. But Jade and I have, since our very first meeting, been talking about creating this ecosystem of young Black professionals and entrepreneurs and just allowing ourselves to be holistically ourselves, whatever that means and whatever that Blackness looks like, and building a community off of it. So that we can eventually create like political change and be the prominent entity in the community in which we live. And so Jade has a much more eloquent way of putting that. And so I really would love for you to explain what that is.
Sure. It would be a collective of young Black entrepreneurs and influencers coming together in like fellowship and support, both in our everyday lives and living our, holistic lives, but then also financially and kind of as a business network. We would be able to really just like have these kind of like Black and brown only entrepreneurial gatherings where we can showcase what we're working on, we can help each other with our creative endeavors, and it would be a network that's committed to sourcing each other as our primary business service providers, referring each other as well to expand our networks for more business opportunities, and then continuously getting together for ongoing personal and professional development. But basically all of that in a way that's lit as fuck.
Right. So what we talked about is one thing that we all want to do here as ThicRoots is we want to build the Charlotte that we want to see. We want Charlotte to be a Black city. We want Charlotte to grow as a city and be a fun city. We really want to eventually be able to have a core group of people that is able to create political change. How do you do that? You start by building a network of young Black professionals and entrepreneurs who can rely on each other for services, graphic design services, catering services, even traditional corporate employment, being able to lean on one another for those things, being able to support each other's events. So making shit lit as fuck, being able to hold parties and know that your party is going to be supported and that other people are going to promote you, are going to support you, are going to come. That then turns around and makes Charlotte present a certain way on social media and to people who don't live here, that, maybe where they might have a job offer in Atlanta and in Charlotte, they might choose to take the Charlotte one because Charlotte looks like it's up and coming. And the more of us that are like-minded and similar, then the more our votes will count.
Exactly. And Charlotte is up and coming. It's been listed as one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S., one of the top cities for major companies that are starting to hire at a exponential rate. But what it hasn't really been reported as is a Black city, as a pro-Black city. And so that's what we want to do, is really create Charlotte's image as a city that is supportive for Black people, not just, in their lifestyles, but in their careers and their economic and political power.